Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making some Marry Me chicken soup. So this should be delicious. It has all the delicious, creamy, rich, decadent flavors of the Marry Me chicken, but in soup form, so it'll be a slightly more liquidy than a traditional Marry Me will be, but it will definitely just be as delicious, and it will last maybe even a couple more days because soups always last a few days longer for me for whatever reason. So to begin this, I'm gonna need some olive oil in my pan. And we're going to start by cooking the chicken completely. I'm using chicken thighs and I have already diced them all up into bite-sized pieces, so it's all ready to go. Okay, now I got my hands all clean. We're gonna cook this all up. Okay, and as this is cooking, I'm going to add some of my seasonings to it. I need some garlic powder, onion powder, some Italian seasoning, and some red pepper flakes. Excellent. The more spicy you want it, the more pepper flakes you're gonna wanna add. Mix that all in too. Okay, this is almost done cooking, so I'm gonna add in 1 onion that has been diced. I blitzed it up in my food processor. And we're gonna get that cooking as well. Ooh, it is smelling so good with all those seasonings. And now that the onions are almost completely cooked, I'm going to add in some garlic. I am using 4 cloves because I like mine quite garlicky, but if you don't like that much, you can use 2 or 3. Awesome, and then we're gonna stir that in for about a minute until it is fragrant. Okay, that is starting to look good, so I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, and then I have 1 can of diced tomatoes. I'm gonna also be garnishing this dish with a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes as well. That all stirred in. Then I'm gonna add 4 cups of chicken broth and wait until that starts simmering to do our next step. Okay, this has finally come to a simmer, so it is time to add my pasta. Just gonna stir that in. And then I'm gonna let that go for about 9 minutes until it is almost done cooking. We wanna catch it a little before it's completely cooked. So I'll be back in 9 minutes. Okay, the pasta is almost done cooking, so now it is time to add some of our dairy. So for this, I need 4 ounces of cream cheese, or a half brick. So I'm gonna break it up into smaller chunks. Make sure it's at room temperature when you're doing this. And then I'm just gonna keep stirring that until that has completely melted in. Okay, that is looking good. Now it is time to add a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. This you also want to be around room temperature, and you do not want to pour it into boiling water or it could curdle, which would not be good. Then we're gonna just stir that in as well. Oh, this is looking so good. The cream and the cream cheese is what gives it that really rich flavor that we're looking for. Okay, now that that has all come together, it is time to add the spinach. I'm going to add about 3 handfuls of spinach to this and wilt it down. Actually 4. Spinach always wilts down a lot. And this is not that healthy, so any extra greens we can get, the better. Okay, so I'm just kind of stirring it in a tiny bit just so that all the greens get covered, and then I'm gonna put the lid on it for about a minute or 2, we'll see. Okay, this is looking wonderful. So it's time to dish it up and give it a taste test. Okay, so this is looking fantastic, but I have a couple of toppings for it. So first off, I'm gonna put on some Parmesan cheese. This is already pre-shredded, but if you have some fresh Parmesan that you can grate on it, even better. And then I also have some sun-dried tomatoes that I'm gonna put on top. This is looking just like the soup version of Marry Me chicken, so I'm very excited to try this all out. Okay, and then to top it off, I'm gonna add just a little more pepper and a tiny bit of salt. I think I salted it pretty good. And here's what it's looking like. Okay, and there you have it, Marry Me chicken soup. I'm very excited to try this. It looks so good and it smells so good. So let's give it a try. It's quite hot, so I want to get a little bit of everything. Get some chicken on there. Get one of those sun-dried tomatoes, some pasta. This is fantastic. It is super flavorful and very rich and creamy. It has a nice flavor balance between the creaminess of the cream and the cream cheese, and then with the acidity that really comes through from the tomatoes. It's a great pairing. The pasta was cooked perfectly and the spinach wilted down great. These sun-dried tomatoes add a nice little pop of flavor at the end, so I'm very glad I added those along with the Parmesan cheese. I love Parmesan cheese, so it's hard to go wrong with cheese. I am very happy with this. The chicken also tasted great, and this is seasoned wonderfully. If anything, I would maybe even actually, you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add a little more red pepper flakes just to give it a tiny bit more heat. But it is so good, and I am so happy about this. It tastes just like the Marry Me chicken, but in soup form. So I am going to have a great time finishing this off. But if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. So good. That red pepper that I added at the end is really good in it too. Delicious.